Okay, we're talking to Mehmet Musaj, who is an author of an article for the special issue of Contemporary Southeastern Europe on population censuses in post-Yugoslav states. You've written about Kosovo. You called it a contested census in a contested state. Can you tell us a little bit more? What are the key features of the population census in Kosovo?
First of all, just let me to start from the very title of this research article. I name it as a contested census within a contested state because the very high political nature of the contestation. So from the title we can understand that the basic reasons that especially Serb minority reject and contest this census, the main reasons are political. So if we compare these census data with the previous estimations, because we have to note here that Kosovo from 1981 has no any, let's say, official registration of populations. So if we compare the census data from the 2011 with today's political situation here, we can say that these results produce some very important political implications, which directly influence over the, let's say, minority rights or certain group rights. So, for instance, just another thing with regard to methodology that I have used, because I consider to be important, because I have used till now all the data and some evaluations that are made from the European Center for Minority Rights in Kosovo and from the GAP Institute, which who deals with social and political research here. With regard to these findings, for instance, we have, let's say, the total number of minorities in Kosovo is in all municipalities, or let's say in all territory of Kosovo, it's lower than before, or around 3%, let's say, because of the Serbian boycott and block in the northern part. But these new numbers, let's say, they can produce some political implication in budgetary allocation, in employment within different municipalities, in minority language uses in different minorities, because in all these areas we have quotas.
Right.
Let's say, for instance, if you have in a certain municipality, let's say more than 10% of total population are minority, a given minority, then they have the right to use their native language. I mean in official terms. And with this new data, for instance, some municipalities, they may lose this right. But where is the problem here? The problem here is that the municipalities, in terms of budgetary allocation, in terms of political representations, they have now started to use this data from the 2011 census. This is foreseen only for the 2016 budgetary projections. The data will be used from the 2011 census results. So maybe this will be interesting for the further research, because all what I have written and I am talking about is that only in theoretical level right now, because the census data is not, these data are not used in terms of, let's say, political representations, budgetary allocation, employment.
Right. But it could be used. So it's not, you're not saying it's not being used right now, but it could be used by
in the future. and it is foreseen for the budgetary allocation, budgetary projection for 2016. So basically, I would say these are the main, let's say, implications that the new data may have in the future. And maybe another important thing is that how the north part of the Kosovo, populated by 4 Serbian municipalities, how our government will behave in front of that part of territory, because they have no any official data.
Right.
So all these are challenges that maybe in the future more concrete statistical research with these political, economical and political implications. Another thing is in national level, if we speak, if we talk about national level, for instance, government and parliament. So, as you may know, these numbers may include maybe also the constitutional change,
right?
Because we have to change quota, even for political representation, even for budgetary allocation, and the entire process of constitutional change is very complicated because it requires the 2/3 of the old PMs from the one side, and from the other side the 2/3 of all minorities,
right?
Which are which operates inside the parliament.
Right.
So basically, these are some, let's say, features for the future, results, and maybe we can develop further discussion with your next question.
Yeah. So I think, I mean, the question is, so you argue rightfully so that you mentioned that 81 was the last census, and then the 91 was contested because it was a projection by the Serbian state. There was no census in the early 2000s. So we have another contested census. So really we still don't know actually. Maybe we know roughly, but maybe you can tell us a little bit more about who were the groups. I mean, you said, of course, Serbs in the north boycotted the census entirely, but who else boycotted the census, to get a better sense of who are we missing?
Also, particularly, the census has been boycotted even in the south part,
right,
in different Serbian enclaves, and particularly by the Roma and Ashkali community, RAE community, as we call it in Kosovo, because everything is grounded in political terms. Even the Roma and Ashkali community. So they want to get something more in, let's say, if you do this, we can participate in the process of population housing, and all the reasons are political right now. Even they want also some of them have been manipulated, or let's say instrumentalized by the other communities, especially Serbian communities here. And this is first. And another problem I forget to mention here is the diaspora. Because this is a very big, let's say, issue for the future, because it's foreseen in the end of 2017 to end up the process of diaspora registration. Until now, in 2011 census, they have adopted the de facto registration of population.
Where people are living now, not,
Yes. With regard to other, it's another important element here, because right now in some municipalities or in national level, because of the Serbian boycott and block in the north part, we have to some extent right now that Bosnian minority are the biggest group of minority in population.
Right.
And also, this contestation, this boycott has raised some questions and contestations, not among the majority and minority in Kosovo, but within minorities among them.
Right. Yeah.
Because,
yeah. I mean,
okay.
has there been? Since 2000, since the census was conducted, and now there's been the dialogue between Serbia and Kosovo. Has the census been on the agenda as something to be conducted again, or conducted in the Serb majority municipalities like the ones in the north, but also places like Strpce and Gračanica, for example?
For now, till now, only in declarative terms, it's foreseen that in the future, but no one knows where is that future. A special or a supplement of this census will be applied in the northern part, but nobody knows where and when. All this. Right now we don't have anything official. It's missing anything official, a decision, or even in the Brussels dialogue, they are not talking about this issue.
Okay.
Because you know the political situation here, because the contestation is the main argument is here that only the states have the right to conduct the census, and no any provinces or things like that.
Maybe a last question. I think one of the things which is often assumed in censuses in the Balkans is that you count ethnicity, language, religion, and this is of course not universally the case. And of course, nearly all of the contestation you talked about is actually contestation over the declaration of which group you belong to.
Yes.
Do you think that, or has there been an argument made in the debates to actually remove ethnicity from the census, or is it something because it is linked to quotas and so on that it's impossible to even think about that?
No, I guess that ethnicity has been and also is playing right now the crucial role here. So we have, let's say, in my hometown, for instance, the Turkish community is the biggest one, and even some Albanians declare themselves as a Turkish. But this is not an issue, Only in when we talk about the Serbian minority and the Albanian, so nobody cares if someone declares as a Turkish or not, But the whole attention is paid about the number. Even if you have seen in email that I have sent to Hrvoje Pajic when I explained for the class discussion some reason, also here, in general in Balkan and particularly in Kosovo, also the power of numbers are so important. So we cannot imagine, let's say, a form of declaration without ethnical background or ethnical belonging.
Yes, I think that is, of course, a key challenge to all of the censuses in the post-Yugoslav space. Well, thank you so much for talking to us and your insights in the article. So, of course, much more data and detail in there.
Okay, thank you very much for this interview.